So my name is Lawrence Mitchell. I was known as Treetop Man Fitz, a man who liked to climb to the tree canopy treetops. And it already got going when lockdown hit, COVID came along, gyms closed, and maybe it's also because I'm diagnosed on the autistic spectrum with ADHD and Asperger's, and I love to think out of the box, that, hey, there's a park. Well, in fact, I think even before lockdown came, I was actually doing a photo shoot with my photographer, and I saw 2 trees, and I said, can you just film me climbing those trees? And that's what he did. And of course, when lockdown came along, and I saw all these trees, I ended up, during the duration of lockdown, climbing about 250 trees, and that is climbing without any safety equipment whatsoever. And people say, you're crazy, you're going to kill yourself. And have I had falls? Yes, I had falls. One of those falls, I won't really go into it. One of those falls was rather funny. It was at the top of a tree. How can a fall be funny? Because I was at the top of this laurel, you wouldn't, the branches, so many branches around you, it's impossible to really go anywhere. But a branch suddenly gave way, didn't break, and I suddenly was propelled upside down, and I was suddenly looking up at the sky. There was actually no way for me to fall, even if I wanted to fall. If I wanted to jump, I couldn't jump because there were so many branches around me, and that was what happened. That was one time. But 2 other times, I learned the hard way about grabbing hold of a dead branch. A dead branch might look very, very strong. In fact, in some respects, this little branch here, is dead. But if you see a long branch, you should never trust a dead branch. So that's one thing. And then you've got to be very, very careful of sharp protrusions on certain branches, which can be invisible to the eye. And I actually was very, very lucky at the top of the tree when one branch broke under my foot and I fell about 12 feet. Didn't hurt myself on the sides. Actually, it's not true. I grazed the sides of my ribs, but I mean, no, not the actual ribs, just under the armpit. So I learned a very, very good lesson, and a couple of times at ground level where I jumped up only 3 feet off the ground and learned how easy it is to wind oneself. So, but I decided this was the perfect tree because you've got this branch behind you, and you can stand here. And one of the great things about trees, all right, you're not quite getting the grounding, the negative ions that you would get if you were barefoot on the ground, but you're still getting negativity because your hand is connected to the branches connected to the ground. So anyway, so I was going up and down. Anyway, it all really happened at the beginning of last year. Wildstrong, who I actually taken another workshop here, Jill, she saw that I was an older adult. She thought, this is amazing, an older adult climbing the way he does, up and down, no safety equipment whatsoever. I've got to get in touch with him. So she actually invited me up to do a course with her up in Fife, Scotland. Anyway, but I actually got to meet Jill at the National Outdoor Show in Birmingham, where Jill said to me, you've got to go and find Richard Wall at UCAN. He's going to love what you do. And then suddenly, Richard suddenly said, Lawrence, would you like to give a workshop? Which I did last year up at in Preston. And here I am again for the 2nd year running. Now, the wonderful thing about this tree, had it been raining, it would still be safe. Well, I would like to think it would be safe to still be here. Normally, if a tree is wet, I would say stay away from a wet tree. You don't want to go through a wet tree. But if your feet are on the ground, you can still do exercises. So the whole point of me standing on here, what I'm trying to do, now we're talking about exercises. So anyway, then I've got to progressed back to what I want to talk about. So one of the participants last year was a guy called Daniel, who lives in Stony Middleton, and he's actually doing a talk at 11 o'clock. And I suddenly got a phone call last October, Lawrence, I'd like you to do a workshop in Stony Middleton. And I went there, and he runs a little retreat, which is very, very nice. It is the most inhospitable place as far as doing tree exercises are concerned. And I had to really think deeply from somewhere up here, or ask trees. And then a great idea came to my mind. What all trees and plants, and this is where the medicinal side comes on, give out a volatile organic compound called Phytoncides. What Phytoncides are, it's a tree's protection against molds, fungi and insects. But what it does for us humans is to, it lowers our blood pressure, it lowers inflammation, but best of all, it has been scientifically proven to increase the number of T killer cells. Scientists are so thrilled by this that they have even realized that certain trees, these phytoncides, there's one phytoncide per each species of tree or plant for that matter, can actually kill certain cancer cells. And that's not me saying it, that's a number of university peer studies who've written up about it. So that's another very good reason for bringing your exercise outdoors. If you can't find trees, then just do it in nature, because you'll be getting phytoncides from literally from the weeds behind you. So, but anyway, the great thing about exercising in trees is it will improve your mobility. And then and really and truly, so my main goal when last year I came up with an idea which I'm going to be discussing further this afternoon, because I'm doing a talk this afternoon, and I came up with an idea with Forestry England how to make the nation much healthier. But I'm not going to digress and talk about that now. I'm just going to get on with the workshop. So really and truly, it's all about you feeling comfortable getting onto a branch like this. I'm actually holding onto this. Even I don't have the ability to be like a master balancer walking the tightrope. And you know, yeah, I can do it, but what you're doing, when you let go momentarily, you're actually engaging your core. So when you're standing here and you try and balance like this, you're really utilizing every single muscle in your body. So, and it's all about taking your time and then thinking about all the different things. One of the things, going back to what Wild Strong were all about, was moving away from the conventional idea of exercise. Conventional idea, oh, you've got to make sure your stomach's in, you know, you've got to be aware of your posture, you've got to do the right technique. Here it is about getting on the branch, getting under a branch. Look, you know, I'm using this branch for support, moving down the tree. So there's so many varieties of exercises that one can do. And here I'm doing this spontaneous. I haven't planned this. I'm just saw the branch here, so I'm moving down. Then I can move my body in different directions. So, and again, my goal is to get people who are very sedentary, who will just about go for a walk in a park or walk through the woods. But I want them to engage with the tree. Say to the tree, please keep me safe, I trust you, and I want to show them how they can move. Of course, they don't necessarily like to be as fit as I am, but that's something else I've worked at it, practiced. And all the time, when you're holding onto a branch, you're getting a little bit of negative ions, but at the same time you're getting these phytoncides. They're getting into your body, and they don't just come from the leaves, they come from all parts of the tree. So just, it's about moving around like this, and trying to be gentle. I'm being very gentle with this branch because I'm aware I don't want to hurt the tree. So it's all about just moving, being able to hold onto a branch and just feel your way into the exercise. Just have to be careful. Trees don't mean to hurt, but unfortunately they do have sharp points, and one does have to be careful. So that's sort of gist of what I'm doing. I don't know if any of you want to try, just moving over the branch or standing on this. There's another tree close by, which I can show you the exercises as well. Depends. It was much smaller.
I'll go here. I'll go here.
Okay, lovely.
What are you thinking?
Just see how you feel. Be careful. Now, just to let you know, I do have insurance, so should the worst happen.
We probably should have checked that before we actually
Not that I really, but I have been out on this tree. I've been doing some filming already, so I have prepared. You see, that is brilliant. What you're doing, you're engaging with that branch, you're engaging your core, and at the same time, you've got a branch to help you with balance. And like reaching up to this branch up here, and I got, you're also giving your body a great stretch.
Yeah,
how did you feel?
Like a dead hang, isn't it?
Yeah.
I like it. It just kind of, because a lot of the time our body's like this, but when you hang, you just stretch it out, don't you?
That's right.
Gravity do its thing.
You see, how are you feeling, by the way?
It's lovely. I've not climbed a tree since I was a child. I forgot how sturdy you feel and how kind of comforting you feel. It's lovely.
If you go into social media, there are a lot of adults now who are doing something this, and it's not about climbing the tree, although there are quite a few that do it, and there are lots of them that actually do it without safety equipment. But there's also a growing movement. It's all about moving with trees, not worrying so much about climbing the tree. Look at me, this is brilliant what you're doing. If I could just get a little video myself.
I want to get up there. The mega.
I don't want you to go any higher than that.
I won't. I want to be on this little perch here.
Okay, that's lovely.
To find the perfect seat.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's fantastic.
There we go. I can mark that on my map now as the perfect seat.
Mind the branch behind you.
It actually looks like a good place to sit and have a photo.
It really is. Yeah. Nice.
See, that branch is quite thick, so you should be quite safe. Absolutely. You see, there's not a lot of difference between us and monkeys. How does that feel?
Yeah, great. Much better than sitting by a computer all day.
Absolutely.
Quite reassuring. It's very strong, isn't it? It's not gonna...
So you've got that branch up there, should you feel a little bit uneasy, you can use it as support. Oh great, we have someone going barefoot. I don't go barefoot because...
Because my shoes are silly.
What?
The shoes are silly. Where's the shoes? It's like I'm not climbing the tree because the shoes are all wrong.
All right.
The wrong shoes on.
Okay. And then you can, you can do all sorts of exercises. Just
You won't catch me doing a one-handed press up.
And this is the great thing about exercising in trees, on trees, is that you've got a very, very free movement. You do what makes you feel comfortable. There's no right or wrong way of doing it other than being aware of risks. It's all about feeling safe. And this is a wonderful tree to be able to do it, and a lot of the research has been actually done on coniferous trees like this. And this is where what I'm hoping, and I'm praying in the future, that there'll be a lot more funding to start funding all the trees, all the species of trees. They've also people already know that aromatherapeutic oils, and I take an inhalation of oregano oil first thing in the morning, it lasts the night, and I've managed to stay away from having the cold or the flu for over a year now. And I think, we've got to really learn to respect nature. Nature is our friend, not our enemy. Nature wants to heal us. And just listening before that drunk who goes into the park, and of course, that any manager of that park who say, "Oh, sorry, get out of my park. I don't want you here," but has to stop and think, well, actually, I'm glad he did come here. And look, but then, explain, look, you shouldn't do what you're doing, and I'm quite happy to welcome you into the park, but please respect the park, take that can, put it in the bin. That's what it's really all about. I mean, I'm really against, and I understand kids, teenagers particularly, that they're with their girlfriend, they come along and they put an inscription into the trunk. I'm really against that. I go up to the tree, I'm so sorry this has been done to you. Trees do have feelings. There's so much new investigation going on in nature. Even apparently researchers are testing water, right? And it's been scientifically proven using instruments, if you speak angrily in front of water, it emits a different frequency to if you're being kind and gentle. And trees have its own intelligence. If a tree becomes injured, that tree will section off the injured part and other trees will come to its rescue.